They're in a really, really hard division this year. And I think the Raiders will be good. I think a lot of people look at the Raiders and are like, oh, this team's going to be bad. They're 3-14. They have their top defensive player back after that debacle of the Ravens and what the Ravens did. They added Mendoza. They added a new coach and an offensive mind there that I think is going to really help out. I don't think they're an elite team, but they're going to win more than 3 games this year. I think they're going to put a roster together, and I think they're going to be a lot better than people and make them out to be. The Chiefs, to me, in this division, they're the 3rd best team in this division. The Chargers, who won 11 games last year, they had a Justin Herbert that had a broken finger, still played. They had no offensive line. They had lost Slater early in the season. Actually, he didn't even play in the season. I think he got hurt in the preseason. They lost Alt, who's a star. They have a stud. Johnson, they lost to last year. They've got a tremendous offensive line. I think they're going to be really, really good this year. Their running game, they lost their star running back early in the season. Actually, they lost their top 2 running backs early in the season as far as the Chargers are concerned. And still, they had a fourth guy that they brought up the pup. I don't even know where they got him. And he actually played half decent. So I think the Chargers are going to be really, really good. Mike McDaniel is there. They added some wide receiving help in the offseason. I expect this team to be very, very explosive offensively and even better defensively this year, which they were one of the better defenses, especially secondaries in all of football. They have one of the best safeties in football as well. The Broncos are going to be really good. They were 14-3 last year. 14-3, and they didn't really have a number 1 wide receiver. Now they added Waddle to this team. Cortland Sutton's still there. And they have a great running game. They have a great offensive line, arguably the best offensive line in football. They have a defense. You can argue the top 3 defense in all of football. They're loaded. Now, it's all about Bo Nix coming back from that injury. Is he an elite quarterback? He doesn't even have to be elite. All he has to be is, I wouldn't say Brad Johnson, but he's better than Brad Johnson. But he just needs to be a competent quarterback, and you can win. A John Harbaugh, you can win with him. And I think Bo Nix has the ability to do that. And I think Sean Payton is one of the best offensive mind. Here's the reason why. If Patrick Mahomes is 100% healthy and Andy Reid has the same go-to thing, mindset of winning a championship, why they can be dangerous. Patrick Mahomes, he doesn't need star wide receivers. He just needs competent guys that can catch the ball. Travis Kelce is still a good player. Is he an elite tight end? He's not an elite anymore, but he's still going to give you 5 touchdowns, maybe 7 touchdowns. He's going to give you 800 yards. He's going to be competent. He's a Hall of Famer. So they're going to have that. They have Rice there. Now, whatever happens with him, because he's an idiot and he's a joke and he causes himself more trouble and more mischief than anybody I've seen in the last 3 years. He's been really, really bad. But you have an elite wide receiver that can catch the ball. So if Patrick Mahomes is 100% healthy, their offensive line played half decent last year. I think that Patrick Mahomes ran for dear life last year because after the right side, they lost, I think, their guard last year. They had to shift the offensive line, and when they shifted it, they were not the same offensive line they were in the first 3 or 4 games of the season. So Patrick Mahomes is healthy, and this defense could be, with Spags, could be elite. We could be talking about a team that could make the playoffs, but they lost McDuffie. They added I understand they added a corner, a young elite corner. Well, let's see if he's going to be elite from LSU. We'll see how good he is this year. But you lost McDuffie, who is an elite corner who went to the Rams. I don't know. But you still have Patrick Mahomes. And when you have Patrick Mahomes on a football field, you'd have to be scared of the Kansas City Chiefs. But I don't know how healthy his knee is. I don't know how good he's going to be out of the pocket, how he's going to be able to move inside and out of the pocket and make those throws. So we'll have to see during the season, early in the season. But I still think that if it's Patrick Mahomes even 90%, they can still make the playoffs.
Yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs, I can see them winning that division. I know that's hard for you to believe, but it goes to your last point with when Patrick Mahomes is even 50% healthy, 60% healthy. This guy is the it factor. This guy is the guy that's going to make the difference at the game. This guy is someone that people are afraid of when they get on that field. So we've seen him play on half a leg, one leg. We've seen him throw, nothing that impacts his arm. If nothing don't impact his arm, then he's going to be successful in this season. So I think that they're going to come out of their conference. I do. I don't think that the Chargers and the Broncos are going to be able to repeat what they had last year. And so with Worthy over there, they just added Kenneth Walker, which is a MVP of the Super Bowl this past year. That's going to be a game changer. With him having an established running game, and they love to run the zone. And Andy Reid himself, as an offensive mind and genius, one of the gurus that we've seen in this day and time, probably going to be top 2, top 3 coaches when it's said and done. But with that combination, count these guys as a contender overall. I know they have some issues with Rice off the field and whatnot, but we'll see how that plays out. But even so, they got guys that can play into this system and actually be effective. And again, as long as you got a Patrick Mahomes behind the center, man, you got a chance to win a championship.
Just so you know, he went down in week 15. So he played practically the whole season last year, and they didn't have a chance. They didn't have a chance last year. And that roster, you could say they brought in Kenneth Walker. He's a great player. I remember when he was drafted. That's fine. They've always had good running games. They're still not winning. They're not better. They're not better than the Broncos. Nowhere close. The Broncos are much better than they were last year and didn't lose anybody in the offseason. They gained. They gained a wide receiver. So the Broncos are much better, and the Chargers are much better, and they won 11 games last year, too. The Broncos 14. They won 6 games last year, and they pretty much brought practically the same team, but a running back. So if that's what you think is going to help them win, good luck. They lost their star corner. They're bringing in a rookie corner. He's not going to be a number one guy early in the season, so they're going to have to trust that he is going to be able to play at a high level, because if he's not, good freaking luck to Kansas City against some of these teams that you have to play twice in this division. You got to play the Chargers, who have 2 wide receivers. You got to play the Broncos, who have 2 wide receivers. Even the Raiders have 2 wide receivers. Good luck.